and welcome to Season 2 of the NGO Whisperer Show. My name is Carolyne Opinde. I am the founder of the NGO Whisperer. We are a consulting business that provides technical support to nonprofits so they can successfully impact people's lives. Joining us today from Nairobi, Kenya is a good friend of mine, Lucy Wairimu. Lucy is the founder of One Touch, One Life organization. Most recently, she's been featured in various local and international media for her great work in impacting the lives of orphans and vulnerable children, as well as widows in Kenya. Her model is effective. It is a community-based volunteer model. Lucy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Carol. I'm honored to be here.
It is an honor. It is a pleasure to have you today, Lucy, to talk to us and share the effective community-based intervention that you're implementing in Kenya, focusing on orphans and widows. Share with us, when did you start this organization, One Touch, One Life, and what is your mission?
One Touch, One Life organization was founded in the year 2009 and later registered as an NGO officially in December 2010 with the NGO Board of Kenya. Our main objective is to improve access to basic needs of vulnerable children and widows in Kenya.
So what services do you offer to orphans and vulnerable children as well as widows in Kenya?
We organize charity events geared to improving access to basic needs for children's home. That includes, accommodation, food stuff, clothing, education stuff, materials, and all other things that they need, as a home. We do it as a particular home and their needs in that particular home.
So I know the story behind this was an inspiration that you had to provide these services and for you to actually go and engage with various children's homes for you to understand what their needs are, even as you're providing services. I will take us back. What inspired you? What's the story behind you going to different homes and providing clothing and food and supporting the various children's homes that are there in your community?
When I started this organization, I had no idea what charity is. I had never visited a children's home. And one day, I remember my boss asked me to accompany her daughter who had come from UK to a children's home in Ngong, that is St. Paul's Children's Home in Ngong. And she was going to make a donation after doing a skydive in UK to raise money for the same. We went to the home, we donated whatever we had, interacted with the kids, and we went home. That day, something changed in my life. I started wondering, this girl came all the way from UK just to support our own, to support our children. What am I doing as a person to make a difference? What can I do to make a difference? So that's where my journey started. And I had this urge to talk to my neighbors. I started with my neighbors, my friends, and I told them, why can't we organize an event to one of the homes and, just go and touch and make their lives better? I talked to some friends, the friends talked to their friends, my neighbors, the shopkeepers, and everyone that I could talk to. And we organized our first charity event, and it was very successful. We had a load full of foodstuffs, clothes, stationaries. People really gave, and that inspired me a lot. And since then, 11 years down the line, it has never stopped.
11 years down the line, and you are still strong. One Touch, One Life organization, making an impact in the lives of orphans and vulnerable children as well as widows. Share with us now as we go deeper into the model that you implement, which for me is a very effective model. And then again, it raises eyebrows to some people because your model is purely based on volunteers working in the community or in their communities to bring a difference. Why is working with community volunteers your preferred method of intervention?
When we started, the board members and the first initial members were all working in different organizations. Till today, we all work in different organizations apart from doing charity work. And the only way we could, work out with people who have the heart to give was to stay and stick with people who have the heart of and the calling of giving back to the society without expecting anything back. Bearing in mind, working from 8 to 5, the only time we have is during the weekends. So as an NGO, we have we need to do our returns, we need the accounting, we need, so there are people in our group who are members, who are auditors, they give their services for free. There are some who are writers, there are some who are bloggers, we have all these people giving back their time and services to the community. Again, this organization is open to everyone. We want the high and the low to participate in our events, creating a culture of giving in our society. When we limit people and we have employees, yes, we would need to have employees in future. But as for now, our vision was to create a culture of giving in our society. People coming, giving back in whatever way they can. Like the youths, they don't work, they can give their time, they have skills, they can share the skills with the children. Anything that someone can, even the lowest person, everyone has something to give back. Even the poorest has something to give. So we encourage everyone to join us and make a difference, whether you have or you don't. Actually, even when we are traveling far, we accommodate everyone, whether you have transport to go to the event or you don't. We pay for each other, and that's how we survive, and that's how we've been for the 11 years we've been doing this work.
What a great model it is, and what a great leader you are to inspire the community to be in a position to give back, not just their finances, but also their time, as well as giving back in a way of providing technical support and in-kind donations to the organization. Now, taking us to the impact of your work. Since your founding over 11 years ago, now here you are reaching out to communities across Kenya. Would you please share with us what your impact is? The children, the orphans, the vulnerable children that have been reached, the orphans, the widows and all that. How many people have been impacted so far?
I want to mention that when we ask for donation, mostly we ask people to give in kind. We identify a need in a certain home. Maybe it's a dormitory, maybe they don't have beddings or the beds. So we make a list and go to organizations, corporates, individuals to seek help. And what we ask for, most of the time we don't ask for money. We tell them this is our list, this is what we need, and they give in kind. And it becomes even very easy for us to be accountable. Actually, we have an account, but we rarely use our bank account because the things that we get go straight to the homes that are required to receive them. On your question, the impacts, I'll give an example. We did a makeover for a widow in Ukambani. We had gone to a children's home in Makueni County. So that's to about 2 hours drive from Nairobi. We had gone to a children's home. Our intention was to visit a home, a disabled home. But on our way, we identified a very old house which was falling, and we could see a woman seated out there. So after we finished our project at the home, we decided to visit the home. We found that lady, she was a widow. We found out she's a widow, and she was living in a deplorable condition. The house was falling, she had no toilet, things like that. I just took photos and I didn't tell her anything. We just bought her sugar and we came back to Nairobi. I came down to my thoughts and thought, what can I do to make something different for this. I remember the American makeover, you know, the American makeover kind of.
Yes,
The one
yes,
with the,
I
yeah.
do. Mhm.
So I borrowed an idea there and I said, we are going to do a Kenyan makeover, the American style. So I talked to women, I talked to organizations, and I took the photos to them. And I made a call to somebody who comes from that area. I told her, go get that lady, remove her from that home until we call you back. It was on a Sunday morning. So people had given doors, iron sheets, blankets, you know, everything that a woman would need in a house. And I reached out to the youths. They came with hammers, you know, those tools for, you know, improving the house. And we left very early in the morning, around 5. And we were at the home early in the morning. We demolished the house, we made it afresh, removed all the old things from the house and furnished it again. And then we called the lady. She had been taken somewhere away from the home and she came home. She could not believe what she found. We even had done a toilet for her. And we gave her some capital to start a small business. And she really cried. Later on, I heard that the community around that area started helping her. At least now they recognize they needed to be part of their own. And that's one of the impact that really had touched my heart for a long time. The children, you find that somebody is calling you because he works in an NGO. The kid is not going to school because they don't have school fees. They have reached their wit end and you don't know what to do. I reach out to people, to organizations, tell, okay, this kid has done well in school. No school fees. What can we do to help? And I've never been turned back. We have one kid who has done nursing and completed through our organization. We had one in Musinda Muriro University. And we had a girl that I never met. The mother called me on phone. She had seen the story. The story for the lady in Ukambani was in the media. So she saw me and saw my contact. She called me, told me I don't have school fees for first time for my daughter. She was from Kisumu Gulf. She had been called to Kisumu Gulf. I spoke to my friends, my employer, and a check was written to that school. I've never met the girl. The mother called me to just say thank you. And that is inspiration because even my employer knows what I'm doing and they're all supporting me. People I've worked for before are still supporting me even up today. Yeah.
You mentioned that you involve your employer, and I know you work for in the construction industry. Would you please share with us other corporate organizations and businesses that have partnered with you? Could give us examples of what industries, of what projects they have been involved in.
Before I had worked in the hotel industry, and I made friends in the hotel industry. I was working for Centrim Hotels and Lodges, and the suppliers in the hotel, the company itself, with the beddings and soaps and everything, they always supported me. After I left Centrim Hotels, I joined Centrim Contracts, which is a construction company. They're still helping. They help me a lot with for instance, we have a project to build a dormitory. Those leftovers of materials that are left and, they can be used. I also, receive them. Firewood, like those leftovers from sites, that are no longer going to be used. Children's homes, they need firewood, to cook and, prepare their meals. There's a home that I've supported for the last 6 years with firewood. They've never lacked firewood. And that firewood comes from the construction sites. So the construction industry and the people that I've worked with in the construction industry have really helped me. There's also Manji Food Products. Every time we have an event, Manji Food Products would give us juices, they would give us biscuits, they make biscuits. The other companies like water companies, like when you're going to the children's home, for us to use, when you're traveling, we don't need to buy water. They give us water for free. We have companies that give us transport, like we don't have a vehicle to transport our goods. So whenever we have an event, we have to look for somebody to sponsor us with the transportation. So we have people coming in and giving us transport. So we have so many Tiger Foods brands, Chris Kirubi. I remember one time they supported us immensely. We did a lot of homes with their rice, and many other organizations that have come in, and also individual friends, the Hiranis, the Buvas, and even their friends from UK. When they come to visit them at home, they call me. They ask me, what project do you have? And they support the project. We did a COVID-19 project last month, and we covered 9 homes where we were teaching them on hand wash, and also we donated water bags, for hand wash, sanitizers, masks, and foodstuffs. We were doing Uji project. We're calling it Uji project, where we would say if they don't have food to eat, at least they can have a cup of Uji. So all the 9 homes received Uji, and all the stuff for hand wash and sanitizing and such. And all these things were donated by friends and well-wishers. And that's how we survive. When God calls you, he provides.
When God calls you, he indeed provides. As we have seen, you have not only provided material needs, but you've also gone further ahead to provide spiritual needs to the people that you serve. Speak to us about the work that you do in that area, because I know you're dealing with very vulnerable people who are going through different difficult conditions, especially during COVID-19. And for our international viewers who do not know what Uji is porridge. It's Swahili word for porridge. So even as you're doing all this amazing work, speak to us about issues of the spiritual support that you provide to people, because I know you are a woman of faith as well.
Actually, my former church, House of Grace, Embakasi, I joined that church, and there were departments in church, and you had to join a department to be a member. So I looked at all the departments, and I could find any that I could fit in. And then I started a department. It was called House of Grace Mercy Ministry, where we'll do a visit once per month, and the church members would contribute toward that visit. We actually adopted a home that we would visit every month. And then we'll speak to the children. We'll have various groups, the girls, the boys, the teenage, and we had counselors, we had mentors, and we would spend the whole afternoon at the home mentoring them. And we still do that even up to today, even though I left. And also in other homes. In our group, we started a group on Facebook, so that that's a mode of communication that we have, Facebook and WhatsApp. We have different kinds of people who can give their services back to the community, including counseling, giving skills, sharing their stories, inspiration stories, and that has really impacted the children in the homes. And we have become a family. Actually, we have become a family. Every time they see you, Mom, when are you coming? When are you bringing this? And one thing I would also want to say, I've impacted my community, my estate where I live. Every one of the Decembers, I organize all the women in my estate. I live in Avenue Park estate in Embakasi, and we organized a Christmas party for 4 different homes. We contributed, made food, brought bouncing castles, whatnot, and then mobilized transport industry to support us with transport. We picked the children from their homes, brought them to our estate field. We had food together, we danced, we prayed, and then later on in the evening, we took them back. You see, these kids have been in their homes. They don't know what is out there. It's good to integrate them in the other communities to see what is happening out there. We do retreats with children's homes. I organize sometimes 2, 3, 4 homes. And we as volunteers, we say, I'll support one kid, the other one will support another one. We pay for the retreat, and we all go out somewhere. We have fun. Then in the evening, we get them back. We are showing them that we still love them. And also there are other kids from other homes who are like them. And they get also to interact and share their stories. And this makes them feel they are not alone.
So you're bringing together children's homes where orphans and vulnerable children have been rescued, and they are now put in these homes to take care of them? And what ages are we talking about when we talk about children in these homes?
Even from age 0 to age 17 years old. Because you go to this home today, you find they were 20. The next time you go, you find they're 30, because rescuing children is an ongoing process. Sometimes you find those who are 18 years have already left. And that's the area that I really want to venture in. Where do they go after they're 18 years old?
So as the children are in these homes, they are taken care of, they have education and everything, and usually they do not integrate with the outside world. And where you come in with One Touch, One Life organization is to provide support to these homes so they can effectively support the children and provide them a loving environment, education, and they grow up to the age of 17. I know previously you shared with me, and you've just mentioned now, that you have a heart for boy child. The boy child has been neglected. As much as we value the support that is given to the girl child in our community, in doing so, we have somehow forgotten that the boy child is also very vulnerable. Would you please share with us the future plans and strategies that you have in place to change this narrative?
Having grown with boys, working in the men industry, I think I interact very well with the male gender. And I didn't tell you, the first home we went, I became a foster parent to a 5-year-old who is now 17, and he calls me mom. So I really interact very well. Working in the construction industry, I work with men. I've been brought up between boys. You know, I used to be a tomboy when I was young. So I interact very well with them. And the boy child has really been neglected. We are really taking care of the girl. And when the two problems come together, one is, you know, one has the knowledge, the other one doesn't have. It won't work. We need to, you know, uplift both male and females so that they can coexist together in a good way. So I have a dream of having a rescue center where the kids that are 18 years and above, you see, after 18, you have to leave the home and you need a place to call home. You need a sense of belonging. You need somewhere you can go hustle and come back before you settle down and you make, you know, a living for yourself. So my dream was to maybe one day, God willing, start a rescue center where they can come. You know, we host them for some time as they plan their future ahead, as maybe learn skills, and, you know, to avoid them going back to the streets and, you know, like joining criminal gangs. You know, it's very tough out there, and they really need to be held together when they come out there. They need to be integrated to the community that loves them, and I don't think they would get that from the streets. Most of them are total orphans, but as the law goes, after 18 years, you need to work out for others to be brought to their homes. So that's one of the dreams I have. I also want to really do the widows makeover. You know, identifying those needy widows who live in deplorable conditions and uplift their, you know, their living standards, and where they can, you know, be able to make a small living, you know, like even start small business, you know, like mamboga, you know, such. At least they can be able to fend for themselves. Some of them are left with kids. Maybe the daughters have gone, they've died, and they're left with kids that they cannot take care of them. They're too old even to work. So that's another area. And also getting a program for volunteers, not only in Kenya, you know, even outside Kenya, where people would come, we place them in the homes that we support, and they can teach them skills, you know, they share what they have. I really want to engage the youth in community-based programs, yeah.
Thank you so much. It is such an honor and a pleasure to know you at a personal level, and also to even share this with our audience at the NGO Whisperer and the NGO Whisperer show. Thank you. We invite you now to share with your audience and with our audience, what needs do you have right now? If there's anyone in Kenya watching us, or anyone who would like to be connected with you from anywhere around the world and would like to come and volunteer with your program, how can they contact you, and what kinds of people are you looking at to work with?
Thank you, Cara. I'm reaching out to all well-wishers, donors, supporters, people who wants to give back to the community in a very open, organization. We are monitored by the NGO board. We do our returns every year. And if you really need to know about One Touch, this information can be provided from the NGO board. However, I ask people to come and support my initiatives. I really need support. We've been volunteers for all 11 years, but now we need to really, bring our resources together to start that center, the rescue center for boys. We don't have transport. We really struggle whenever we have to transport our goods to the children's homes. If we could have our own mode of transportation, we'd ask well-wishers to come and support us. And any other person who wants to work with us, check on our page on Facebook, One Touch, One Life organization. You don't have to be a millionaire to be a humanitarian. You don't even have to be beautiful. You don't even have to be highly educated. You just need to care. Thank you.
Thank you. What a great parting shot that was. Thank you so much, Lucy Wairimu and One Touch, One Life organization. We are honored to know you, and we look forward to doing amazing things together. Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of this show, we invite you to contact Lucy Wairimu from One Touch, One Life organization through the contact details that we have provided. We also invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe, like, comment, and share so we can reach many who may be interested in working with One Touch, One Life. Remember, it's all about connecting people, raising funds, and impacting lives globally.